I DJ'd for Most Deaf, and we went over to London for some shows, and Destiny's Child was performing there. And I don't know if you know this, and don't tell anybody if you don't, but Most Deaf kind of used to mess.
Did Jay-Z really push Most Deaf out of the picture to keep Beyoncé all to himself? What if their rumored romance was just the start of a much darker story filled with hidden betrayals and explosive secrets? From sabotaged performances to shocking behind-the-scenes drama, the truth could be more scandalous than we ever imagined. Trust me, you won't want to miss this wild ride. Back in 2001, Beyoncé was still riding high with Destiny's Child, but she was already making moves to conquer more than just the music scene. She stepped into the acting world with Carmen, a hip hopera, and that's where things got a little interesting. This wasn't just any movie. It was a moment when hip-hop was making its mark in Hollywood, and Beyoncé was at the center of it, alongside the one and only Most Deaf. The chemistry between them was undeniable, with steamy scenes that had fans buzzing, and while neither Beyoncé nor Most Deaf ever confirmed anything romantic between them, the rumors were hard to ignore. As soon as the movie wrapped, whispers started circulating that what went down on screen might have translated into something off-screen. The question was, did they have a thing, or was it all just speculation? Neither of them ever spoke up to set the record straight. But the gossip didn't die down. In fact, it only seemed to fuel the fire, especially when you consider how close they were while filming. Most Deaf was more than just a co-star. He was part of the new wave of artists blending hip-hop and acting, and Beyoncé was showing the world she wasn't just the lead singer of Destiny's Child. This wasn't the bubblegum pop star we were used to seeing. This was Beyoncé, ready to flex her muscles in the world of acting, music, and beyond. But as the rumors continued to swirl, the timeline between Beyoncé's budding solo career and her relationship with Jay-Z started to overlap. Could this alleged romance with Most Deaf have been the reason why Jay-Z felt the need to step in and claim his territory? Keep watching, because the drama doesn't stop here. Fast forward a few years, and the plot thickens with a major reveal from DJ and radio personality Cypher Sounds. He had an insider's look into the world of Destiny's Child before Beyoncé became the superstar she is today. During an interview, Cypher dropped a bombshell that would send shockwaves through the music industry. According to him, Beyoncé and Most Deaf weren't just close on screen, they were involved off-screen too. Now, Cypher wasn't just some random guy speculating. He was working closely with these artists, and he had a front-row seat to the early days of Beyoncé's solo career. He specifically mentioned that he remembered a weekend spent with Destiny's Child when Beyoncé was still working to break free from the girl group's shadow. It was then that Cypher overheard something that would stir the pot for years to come.
DJ'd for Most Deaf, and we went over to London for some shows, and Destiny's Child was performing there. And I don't know if you know this, and don't tell anybody if you don't, but Most Deaf kind of used to mess with...
Most Deaf kind of used to mess with Beyoncé. Just think about it. This is a huge revelation. It wasn't just idle gossip or baseless rumors. Cypher's words added fuel to a fire that was already burning. And what's even more interesting is how he casually dropped this information, almost as if it was something everyone already knew but had never been confirmed. The fact that Cypher was privy to this little tidbit adds a layer of credibility to the entire story, making you wonder, if Most Deaf and Beyoncé had a fling, just how far did their connection go? This isn't the only time we've heard whispers about Beyoncé's relationships behind closed doors, but Cypher's statement was one of the first to truly hint at the possibility of more than just a professional connection between her and Most Deaf. Was there more to their chemistry than we were led to believe? And if so, how did Jay-Z fit into this picture? Stay tuned, because what comes next could reveal how Jay-Z took matters into his own hands to protect what he considered his. As Cypher Sounds' revelation settled in, a new layer of tension began to emerge. Enter Jay-Z, who was already well on his way to becoming the king of hip-hop by the early 2000s. Beyoncé, fresh off her Carmen, a hip hopera experience with Most Deaf, was beginning to spread her wings as a solo artist. But Jay-Z? He wasn't just going to sit back and let another man, especially one like Most Deaf, get too close to his woman. At this point, Beyoncé and Jay-Z were not yet officially an item, but the chemistry between them was undeniable. Jay-Z was already known for being fiercely protective of his brand, and when it came to his relationship with Beyoncé, it seems that no one was allowed to get too close. Rumors began circulating that Jay-Z was aware of the potential romance between Beyoncé and Most Deaf, and that, according to some insiders, he didn't like what he was hearing. Word on the street was that Jay-Z had to handle things in his own way, removing anyone who might pose a threat to his growing relationship with Beyoncé. Could this be why Most Def's presence in the industry started to dwindle around the same time? Was he quietly pushed aside in an effort to keep things calm between Jay-Z and Beyoncé? Some people believe that Jay-Z's calculated moves behind the scenes were meant to control not just the narrative of his relationship with Beyoncé, but to eliminate anyone who could potentially mess with that narrative. Imagine this: Jay-Z, already notorious for his power in the music industry, seeing Most Def as a rival, not just as an artist, but as a potential threat to his personal life. This wasn't just about music anymore. It was about the power dynamics between two huge forces in the industry. Was Jay-Z really that possessive, or was he just being strategic? Either way, the question remains: did he go too far to protect his relationship, and what consequences did that have for Most Def's career? But the drama doesn't stop there, because as we've seen before, Jay-Z wasn't the only one who had to deal with rumors about Beyoncé's other relationships. Stay tuned, because what comes next could shine a light on how far Jay-Z might have gone to protect his woman, and the lengths other artists went to try and get close to her.
Z is about to introduce me to her. We're at the 4040 nightclub, and he's about to introduce me to her, and he's like kind of awkward. He's like, yo, this is my girl, you know, Beyonce. And she gave me the look, like, which if you don't know how to read, Jamaican girl, what does that look?
We know there were rumors about Most Def and Beyoncé, but what happened to Most Def after all of this speculation? Well, in the years that followed, the talented artist, once considered one of the most influential voices in hip-hop, began to fade from the limelight. It wasn't just that he slowed down his career. He completely distanced himself from the music industry and Hollywood, making an abrupt exit that left fans and insiders scratching their heads. Now, this is where things get really interesting. While most artists take breaks for personal growth or to explore other opportunities, Most Def's departure was different. He didn't just step back, he seemed to walk away from it all. And when he was asked about it, his response was blunt. He was done with the current state of the music industry. In fact, he publicly stated that he was fed up with the way the industry was set up, and that he was tired of playing the game. But here's the twist. Some insiders believe there's more to his exit than just creative frustration. Could it be that Most Def was forced out because of his rumored involvement with Beyoncé? This theory has gained traction over the years, with some suggesting that Jay-Z may have had a hand in his disappearance. Was Most Def pushed out of certain circles because he knew too much or had become a liability? After all, if rumors were true and he'd once been romantically linked to Beyoncé, it wouldn't be a stretch to think that Jay-Z may have been protecting his brand and his relationship with his own set of tactics. Most Def was one of the few artists to speak openly about his dissatisfaction with the music business, and he didn't just quietly step away. He made his feelings known. Could his exit from the scene have been more than just personal? Did Jay-Z, a man known for his tight grip on everything in his orbit, orchestrate Most Def's disappearance to eliminate any lingering connections between him and Beyoncé? The more you dig into it, the more it seems like there's a deeper story here, a story that may have been buried for years. And as we'll see in the next section, Most Def wasn't the only one who faced strange shifts in their career after getting too close to Beyoncé. If you think Most Def's departure was odd, just wait until you hear what happened with another artist who tried to share the spotlight with her. As if the mystery around Most Def wasn't enough, here comes another twist: Sean Paul. Yes, the very same artist who had that iconic collaboration with Beyoncé on the hit song Baby Boy. On the surface, everything seemed fine. Their performance was electric, the chemistry undeniable, and the song became an international success. But behind the scenes, things were anything but smooth. According to Sean Paul, the rumors surrounding his relationship with Beyoncé started to cause major friction, especially when whispers about their possible romance began to swirl. Sean Paul himself admitted that, despite their incredible performances together, they barely hung out outside of the music. But that didn't stop the rumors from making their rounds, and those rumors quickly caught the attention of Jay-Z. The tension began to rise as Jay-Z reportedly became very protective of Beyoncé and her image. Sean Paul was candid about how things started to feel off. He described a moment when he was set to perform with Beyoncé at a major event, only to find that something strange was happening backstage. His microphone was switched off during a performance, effectively sabotaging his moment. At first, Sean thought it was a technical glitch, but when it happened again at another event, he started to connect the dots. Someone, or something, was actively working to make him look bad, and it didn't stop there. During another performance at the MTV Europe Music Awards, things got even weirder. Sean was supposed to enter from under the stage and perform Baby Boy with Beyoncé, but when it was his turn to speak, the track kept playing Beyoncé's part on repeat. It was as if someone was making sure that his presence didn't overshadow hers, but the real kicker came when Beyoncé allegedly confronted Sean about the rumors. She reportedly told him that the dating speculation was starting to mess with her career, and Jay-Z wasn't happy about it. Sean, being the stand-up guy that he is, tried to clear the air by telling her that any issue Jay-Z had should be addressed with him directly. But soon after, Sean found out that he wasn't going to be performing with Beyoncé again. Beyoncé's team reportedly made it clear that he would no longer be part of her performances, and it felt like the decision had come from the top. Jay-Z himself. Rumor has it that Jay-Z didn't want his queen sharing the stage with any man who might trigger suspicions or fuel the dating rumors. Could it be that Jay-Z's possessiveness and jealousy were at play once again? According to sources, Jay-Z allegedly even accused Beyoncé of having an affair with Sean Paul, and, in response, became increasingly controlling, even going as far as hiring private investigators to keep an eye on her. This wasn't just about Sean Paul, this was a pattern. The question now is, was this control about more than just protecting his relationship? Was it about protecting his brand and his dominance in the industry? As we move forward, the bigger question arises. Was this behavior isolated to Sean Paul and Most Deaf, or were there other artists who found themselves pushed out of the spotlight after crossing paths with Beyoncé? The web of power, jealousy, and control might go deeper than we've ever imagined. At this point, the story takes on an even darker tone. Jay-Z's actions weren't just about his relationship with Beyoncé. They were about maintaining control over everything, from her career to the narrative surrounding their relationship. The more we dig into the lives of the men who've come into contact with Beyoncé, the clearer it becomes that Jay-Z wasn't just protective. He was obsessed with ensuring that no one ever threatened his grip on both her and his empire. Beyoncé, being one of the most sought-after women in music, was constantly surrounded by rumors, admirers, and the kind of attention that could make even the most confident man feel uneasy. But Jay-Z wasn't just any man. He was the blueprint for success in hip-hop, and in his eyes, anyone who got too close to his wife was a potential threat. The rumors surrounding her involvement with artists like Most Deaf and Sean Paul were more than just casual gossip. They were things Jay-Z simply couldn't ignore. Sources have claimed that Jay-Z became intensely controlling when it came to Beyoncé's interactions with other male artists. His possessiveness wasn't just about keeping other men away from her. It was about asserting dominance over every situation. Allegedly, Jay-Z went as far as to hire private investigators to track her every move when she was around other men, like Sean Paul, who were rumored to be more than just colleagues. Imagine this: Beyoncé, a grown woman, capable of making her own choices, having her every move monitored because her husband couldn't handle the rumors. It's chilling, isn't it? In some circles, Jay-Z's behavior has been described as borderline paranoid, as if he needed to control every aspect of Beyoncé's life to maintain his power. After years of silence, the question that remains is whether Most Deaf and others will ever come forward to expose the truth about what really happened behind the scenes with Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and the music industry. With Jay-Z's image no longer as untouchable as it once was, The door might finally be open for insiders to tell their side of the story. The cracks in the perfect power couple image have become more visible in recent years, and many people are starting to wonder if now is the time for Most Def to spill the tea. Imagine the kind of bombshells Most Def could drop if he finally spoke up. The world has been waiting to hear the truth behind his sudden departure from the industry, and if he decides to share his side of the story, it could be more explosive than anything we've seen in the music world. From revealing the true nature of his relationship with Beyoncé to shedding light on the behind-the-scenes power plays that may have shaped his exit, the potential revelations could shake the industry to its core. Most Def isn't the only one with secrets. There are countless artists, producers, and insiders who have witnessed the ways in which Jay-Z has controlled the narrative around Beyoncé's career and personal life. The stories of jealousy, manipulation, and calculated moves could come flooding out, and with Jay-Z's public image starting to crumble, it may be the perfect time for these revelations to hit the surface. But here's the million-dollar question. If the truth is finally exposed, how will it affect Jay-Z's legacy? Will he continue to be seen as the rap mogul who built an empire, or will he become the villain in a story of manipulation and control? For years, Jay-Z has been able to craft his own narrative, but if insiders like Most Def are ready to speak out, the narrative could change forever. Now that the truth behind the drama involving Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and Most Def has started to unravel, the big question is, what happens next? With more insiders speaking up and the cracks in Jay-Z's nearly perfect image becoming more apparent, the power dynamics of the music industry might never be the same. Most Def, who has kept quiet for years, could very well be gearing up to tell the untold story, shining a light on what really happened between him, Beyoncé, and the forces that may have pushed him out of the spotlight. Could Jay-Z's control over the industry and the people around him finally come back to haunt him?